Hello, fellow world-class riders. And right now I'm currently in Italy, so I'm traveling, and I just wanted to jump on and make this video for you guys because I had a question. I had a question from one of the members. So make sure if you are watching this video and if you have any other questions to just comment down below in the comment section or in the chat, and I will definitely make a note to address your questions and answer them in future videos. So today's topic is how to fix the buddy sour horse. And I have two stories for you with two different horses, like two different horse personalities that I've worked with in the past. And they are definitely very good examples of some games and things that you can do in order to help the buddy sour horse become a little bit more independent. But also, I'm going to give you a couple of tips, which I think a lot of people, they come to YouTube or they come to Facebook and they're typing in Facebook groups like, how do I fix my buddy sour horse? And they think that there's some kind of blanket one size fits all for every horsey problem that they have. And it's just not the case. Okay, that's absolutely not the case. So I'm going to give you some stories and some examples. These strategies might work for you, but the bottom line is every horse is different, and you might have to get a little bit of creative juices flowing in order to figure out how to work with your horse. And you will notice a few patterns which definitely carry over. But the biggest thing I want to say is if you're looking for trying to understand like the horse psychology, and the biggest factor here is why. Why is your horse buddy sour? Are they young? Have they, never been separated from their other horses before? Do you only ride them every other week? So if you only ride them every other week, then for them, they're 2 weeks wandering around with their friends. Then all of a sudden you come and their world is upside down and you rip them from their field and you rip them from their herd. And, it's a traumatizing experience for them. So why? Why is your horse buddy sour? And so the biggest thing is if you want to understand the horse psychology, speaking the horse language, okay? We have a book on Amazon and an online course. So that's where I would start. All of those games in the speaking horse language, that is what's going to help you to really build a relationship with your horse. Okay, a relationship with your horse is a key phrase here, a relationship. So they see you as one of them. They see you as part of their herd, and they accept that when they're with you, like it's almost as if they're with another horse. Okay, they accept you as a herd member, and they see you as their leader and their partner, and they're happy just being in your company. So speaking the horse language is definitely what I would recommend. So let's go ahead and dive into two stories of mine. Now, when my husband and I, we moved to England, we bought our first mare, Lily, and Lily had been living by herself in a field, no other horses, for the first 5 years of her life. So she was alone. She was very independent, didn't know that other horses existed, I don't think. And then we bought her and we brought her to a boarding stables where she was out in a field with like 20 horses. So suddenly she didn't know how to interact and be a horse. So suddenly she had horses in her life, and like she didn't even know like basic horse things. So she didn't know that other horses could kick her. And, so she was learning how to be a horse basically. And so when we brought her to this new stables and suddenly she had interactions with other horses, then she became very excited, and she had this really bad habit of when we would take her out from the horses and go and brush her or saddle her and then bring her into the arenas. It was a covered, enclosed indoor or outdoor arena, so she couldn't see the other horses, but she could hear them. She could hear them walking around. And so she had this really bad habit in the beginning of whinnying, but her whinny was so sharp, it sounded like a pig squealing. And by pig squealing, I mean it sounded like a pig was being murdered. Okay, we actually had people running to the arena, poking their heads inside the arena to see what was wrong with our horse because they thought that some travesty had happened. And actually, she was just, squealing to the other horses because she missed them. So in the beginning, what I did with her is, and it's going to sound embarrassing, I would mimic her. I would mimic her. I would squeal like a pig every time she would do it, but I would do it in a funny way. So I would do it and then I would laugh at her. And she, every single time, her ears would flick at me and she would try and look at me if I'm in the saddle, and she would get really like, but I'm doing that. And so it didn't take very long. And every time she would whinny, I would whinny. Every time she would squeal, I would squeal. And then I would start laughing at her. And it didn't take her very long to decide that she wanted to silence me. She didn't want me to do that. And she realized I only did it when she did that. So she stopped that fairly quickly. So that's one story. And the second example is our second mare that we bought, Q. And Q actually feels she's like alpha mare. She's the leader. But when she's by herself, she's actually not very confident and she's kind of a follower. So she's a leader when it comes to food, but her personality, she's a follower. Okay. She's a follower, true and true. So with her, we had a similar situation when we first bought her that, she had many boyfriends in the field and she didn't want to leave them. And, she was an ex-racehorse. So to her, I think her association with being with humans was, they make me work. They do stuff. I never have fun when I'm with people. And so she just, when we first got her, would start like looking around for other horses and she just didn't want to be by herself. And she would whinny, but in a very loud, deep whinny that like it was ear piercing. And so what we did with Q when she was in that kind of buddy sour mode, and this is what my overall answer will be for a lot of your horses, is repetition and consistency and just regularly every day bringing her out, brushing her, saddling her without the other horses or riding her alone in the arena, like just that routine and keeping the training sessions in the beginning when we were still new, keeping them short, keeping them fun, letting her see that when she's with us, when she's with people, it's not work. It's not unpleasant for her, something that she could start to enjoy. So she definitely had a past and she definitely had learned not to enjoy being with people. And so the more that she started to enjoy being with us, the less and less it got. However, having said that, she is, her personality, a follower. She will always be a follower. So, our other Mary Lily, we can ride her on the trails for hours and hours. She'll never see another horse. She's totally fine. Q, we can do the same. We can take her out, take her on little trails, but she will always be slightly less confident by herself versus when there is another horse. That's just her. But it doesn't mean that she does anything bad and that it's nothing that we can't cope with. So these two different examples I wanted to share because I handled them differently. And that's where I said there is no one size fits all cure for all horse things. So if you're on YouTube and you're trying to fix your riding problems, or if you're on a Facebook group and you're like, please fix my horse problem, like that doesn't work. Okay. You need a coach, you need a horse trainer, you need someone like me, you need somebody that can actually work with you and help you and your horse. And you need to be creative. If you're DIYing this and you're trying to do it yourself, you need to be creative. You need to try different things, see what your horse's personality is, see what they respond to. For Lily, it was making fun of her and squealing like a pig and laughing at her. For Q, that didn't really work so much. So for her, it was more about having her actually enjoy being with us. And so now Q is one of our herd members. So when she's with us, she's fine because she's with her herd. So, for Q, it was about having fun and playing games and keeping her busy and entertained. And that worked really well. So these are two examples of two different horses. Hopefully you guys found this interesting and helpful. Like I said, if you have any other questions or comments, just chat in the comment down below in the chat. And I love to hear from you guys. I get a lot of emails and messages from everyone. So make sure that you reach out to me. I can't help you if you don't reach out to me. And yeah, thank you so much for those of you who are sending me the questions. And I will see you guys next week.